never heard of gastroparesis in my life. A good friend of mine referred me to you. She actually said, I was actually at a church service, and it was a healing. They were having a healing service, and she came up to me and prayed for me, and she said, I want to tell you about my doctor. His name's Dr. Roger Borbon. I had an aneurysm in 2012, and he saved my life. And I thought, wow, that's a very bold statement, okay. And she said, what's wrong with you? And I said, I think I have something called gastroparesis. I've just gone through a whole year of a lot of things. I just kind of launched into things that I'd never done before, and having a lot of it just felt like my life was blowing up. And she said, you need to go see my doctor. And I thought, okay. I mean, I was going everywhere, Dr. Borbon. I had gone everywhere. I had done everything, all the doctors, all the holistic, I had gone everywhere, would do anything. I'd read online how to heal, because I started off with what I think was like GERD to chronic gastritis, to now my body won't process food. And I would eat, and it would sit in my stomach for like 20 hours, and I couldn't do anything. So that's the point where my friend came to me and said, who's been a patient of yours for many years, and she said, I have somebody who can help you. And I thought, wow, okay. And I remember coming here for the very first time, and just the warmth in your office. I remember it was definitely, there was a dichotomy of what I had experienced up until this point coming to your office, just night and day. It was like, you gave me hope in that moment. You were the only person that was able to say, we can help you with this. Because everybody was telling me that it was incurable. Google was telling me that it was incurable. The doctors were telling me that, the next step was me going on a feeding tube. And I was like, I can't continue doing what I'm doing on a feeding tube. Like, I don't know how this is gonna work, but yeah. I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to relinquish what I do every day, 100%, if this is the direction that my life is headed in.
Right.
And I believe I came in, I didn't know what it meant, but you didn't tell me until the very end. I came in with a oxidation.
Oh, the pulse ox, the oxygen in the heart rate?
Yeah, it was 87, I believe.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me till later. Okay, that's why I didn't even know what that was. Yeah. I was like, gosh, when I saw 87, I was like, oh, maybe that's good.
Very low oxygen, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't eat. All I could drink was keeping me alive was green juice. I would just juice kale, spinach, and carrots. And that was literally keeping me alive. And I was traveling all over the country carrying a juicer with me. And where I would speak, they would have 20 pounds of organic vegetables waiting for me in the hotel so that I could speak at their event. Wow. So here I come. And you told me you could help me.
Where you were standing when I was saying, okay, here's what's happening, and I connected some dots for you, I'm sure, on that first visit.
Big time.
That was different from what you've heard to that point.
Well, light bulbs, I don't know if you noticed that, but light bulbs were going off. Like, I had like a million light bulbs going off, where everything now started to make sense to me, because you took the time to explain to me what was happening at the root. You were explaining to me, hey, you're in a state of fight or flight, watch this. And the aha moment was when you did the neurological test, and just understanding brain function connected to gut function and how the two are married. It's a together thing. That all the light bulbs went off, and I knew for the very first time somebody's telling me, this is why you are where you are. And I think having that understanding, because it was also my first experience of someone sitting down where you weren't in a rush to get in, like, and all of your patients say this about you, like, even though you have many patients waiting for you, you act like they're the only patient that you have all day. And it's like, we all on the patient side get this feeling of like, that we are the most important patient of the day, yet you have a line of patients out the door that you have to get to, but you never made me feel like, hurry up and get it out, which a lot of doctors do. They have 15-minute slots, and I understand that. We have my mom's side of the family, all of them are doctors. I understand that, but somehow, some way, you just managed to sit there with me, I think almost 2 or 3, I don't know, it was a long time. And you took the time in one of the, probably the worst state physically I've ever been in my entire life. Brain surgery was nothing. I've gone through brain surgery, was nothing compared to that. Nothing. That was a cakewalk. My life was completely collapsing physically. And so that was a game changer for me. That you took the time to explain to me, this is what's going on, this is what the work. So I was ready to do anything. I was desperate. I believed everything you said because it made sense and it was the truth. I knew it was the truth. I saw it with my own eyes when you did the testing, and it was like, I just knew I have to follow through with this. I've got to do this. You and your team brought so much hope to me that anytime that I ran into a hiccup or I was in a lot of pain or something was going on with me, it was like, we got this. Never experienced that anywhere before, where it's not just you, it's your wife, it's Elizabeth and Haley. I remember calling in one day with a headache. The office was closed and Haley picks up and I said, no, I don't want to bother, I'm so sorry. And Haley called your wife and gave me exactly what I needed to do, and the headache disappeared in 30 seconds when I did what she told me to do. And I thought, wow, I've never experienced that in the medical field in my life. And I'm the type of person where when I have an experience, I have to go tell everybody. I'm just that way. And so, I've told, anyways, it's just what happens when you have a really good experience. You want everybody to know, and those are those little things that really help me in the difficult moments. So were there difficult moments? Absolutely. You told me that it would be, hey, like this, but it would go up, and that I would always remember that in those tough moments that, okay, we're going to go down, but then we're going to come back up, and we're going to go down, we're going to come back up. I'd always remember that.
Yeah. Cool. So for you, it was really, you made the decision, and it wasn't so hard to do. It wasn't a cakewalk, but it really was. It was harder to stay where you were than to take this action, is what I'm hearing, right?
Yes.
So what's life like now?
Yeah, I can eat again. I couldn't eat. I could eat bananas and I could drink green juice when I came into your office. That's it. Everything else hurt. It was painful to eat, and I was nauseated all of the time. So if I'd eat like a little cracker, I would be nauseated because it would just sit in my stomach for a whole day, and I'd have to be in bed, and so I just couldn't eat anything, just liquid. And I eat now. I mean, it's not just the eating though. It's the lifestyle, because what happened through the program was I now started looking at the choices that led me up into that point. And I remember you telling me one day, gosh, it encouraged me so much. It was like, I was like, probably a hard day. I was like, I feel like a bomb has been dropped in my life. I told you that, and you said, yeah, but you gave this explanation of like how like termites could, little by little they start eating everything up, and then one day it just dissipates, it's gone. Or you can have a bomb dropped in your life, physically, emotionally, on some level, which is actually much better, because now you can actually deal with the situation. So it wasn't just the fact that the miracle of me being able to eat again, but it was now I'm looking at life. I don't want to be in fight or flight anymore. I want to make decisions completely different, and being aware. Listening to my body was another big thing. Actually taking time in my body, going, I don't want to do that. I think we've worked out enough this week. And going, yes, I hear what you're saying. Maybe we shouldn't do that. And starting to listen to my body, and really taking, in our society, everything's so fast. And I believe it's the modern woman syndrome. I remember hearing that, I'm like, what does that mean? And I really began to understand that through the program. It's like, wow, I've been making decisions on the fly, because our society is designed, for women to kind of do it all and be, and it's, our bodies are not, we're not designed for that.
Yeah, where it's actually, our society is very much geared toward making us sick. And it just hits women, and it's easier to hit women this way just because of their brain makeup.
Wow.
Still hits men this way, but they don't decay slowly like women do. They just drop dead.
Wow.
And
okay.
so it's a different.
Okay.
It's a
That's-
problem both ways. It
Okay,
just looks
yeah.
different. The two different brain
wow.
types. So so then, what would you tell if so you had someone that you trusted enough to say, yeah, I'm going to go, and it may have just been such a point of desperation. I'll go because I've already exhausted everything else. And that's a lot of people that we see have been.
They've been everywhere.
They've been everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
So as far as someone who might be at a point where they have seen the best, or they've been through everything that's imaginable out there, and there's a true bit of hopelessness starting to creep in, or maybe it's a full-blown depression, anxiety, whatever the thing might be. If someone's out there listening thinking that, well, it can't happen for me, or something along that line, what would you say to them?
We never feel like what's happening to somebody else is going to happen to us. I mean, I feel like that's been my entire life. It happens to them, never to me. But the reality of it is that things like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, infirmities that we deal with in our body come knocking at our door and can change the course of our life in a second. And that's what happened with me. I was traveling, speaking, doing things that I had never done in my life that was starting to cause a lot of anxiety in me, just naturally. I'm a very intense person, and so it was a kind of slow, progressive, but kind of all of a sudden it was an onslaught. All of a sudden I couldn't eat. All of a sudden a bomb was dropped in my life. So if you're starting to have little symptoms of something, or maybe you're full blown into a diagnosis like gastroparesis, or fibromyalgia, or neuropathy, or just something like that, my encouragement would be to you to seek out the help, and I'm biased because I came here and my life changed forever. That was the game changer in my life, was coming here to Dr. Borbon, and I've referred friends, and will continue to refer friends, because that's what happens when you have a good experience. You want to tell everybody, but it was truly an experience that I had never had before coming to this office. It changed. I wouldn't be sitting here today. I really don't believe I'd be sitting here today had I not had that friend come to me and go, hey, why don't you come see my doctor? I think he's got some answers for you, when the whole world was telling me there's no answers, it's incurable. And one person saying, he can help you with the gastroparesis, which if you Google gastroparesis, very first thing that comes up, it says gastroparesis is an incurable disease, or is incurable.
Yeah.
But I came to this office, and Dr. Borbon had a very different diagnosis and a different take on Google's and everybody else's, modern medicine's diagnosis for me.
Well, on that note is, what they should say is, if you do it the way that we do it.
That's very good.
And that would be true.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not going to change as long as you keep doing the conventional way. The same old results, the same old action will give you the same old results.
That's right.
But it's more stated as just a definitive, that's it. And so I'm so glad that you took action, and here you are. So thank you so much.
I got my life back, Dr. Borbon. I remember asking when I was going through all that, I was like, I would tell my husband, I'm like, I just hope I get my life back. I don't know if I'll ever get my life back. And I remember having a moment. I was actually on my way to the office one morning, because I'd come twice a week during that time, and I had to pause, because I realized that God had given me my life back through your practice and everything that the program did for me. And I just had to go. I realized, I was like, I got my life back. I'm eating again. I'm moving again. I'm working out again. I'm actually able to live again. And this isn't just this is not an over exaggeration. This is what I've lived through. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Probably my favorite thing that I get to hear is it's literally that line, I feel like I got my life back. So
it's a big deal. Thank you, Dr.
All right.
Borbon.